Welcome to Market Research. This is Mark Spielis. And in this podcast, we're going to discuss marketing research and break down the sources, where it's at in the process, and talk about why marketing research is so critical today for marketers. So when we look at marketing research, the why are we doing market research? It's to create this better relationship between the customer and the marketer, right? So we're trying to create an exchange. To make that exchange, we have to create a better relationship. So marketing research provides us that information, that data, to make better decisions as marketers. Okay, so at the end of the day, why marketing research is so critical today is the fact that marketers have a lot of decisions to make, and it's critical to make the right decisions. Those decisions are enhanced by the use of marketing research. Another reason for marketing research today is the rate of change is so significant today in business that we need some level of marketing research that's continuous to allow us to make those decisions and make the right decisions. So the rate of change is happening quicker, so we need to stay up with changes in the marketplace and customers' perceptions. All right, so what is marketing research and why, I guess, is probably the better question here. And again, we're making better marketing decisions, and really those decisions center around the 4 P's of marketing. So if I were to work my way backwards, if we look at the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, promotion, and place, marketing research allows us to determine, are we making the right decisions? For example, around pricing. Did we make the right decision? Did a change in pricing increase our revenue, our profitability? How are we doing with promotion? So the marketing research gives us that feedback on the 4 P's of marketing. Marketing research, or you're going to hear me refer to this as environmental scanning. It's the same thing, but marketing research as part of the strategic planning process. So when you look at any organization, they have a strategic planning process that's involved for the entire business or their business unit. All right, so that involves gathering data as well as marketing research. So marketing has a role in that. That role is to pull in external information regarding strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's our SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis allows us to look at where should we be? What was our plan? Where are we at? What is the gap? Okay, and then how does that fit in with a business plan? The marketing research that we're using is a component as part of the business plan, the strategic plan. The marketing research process, so in the last slide we looked at where we're at with the entire business. We're a component in that. Now let's break down the marketing research process. And the first step is, let's identify, what are we trying to understand? What is the problem that we're trying to solve with marketing research? What are the possible trade-offs with making decisions around the 4 P's of marketing? Okay, so based on our understanding or our defining what is the problem we're trying to solve, let's find what data do we need to solve that problem. What methods should we use for collecting that data? So that would be step 2. Step 3 is actually collecting the data. I'll elaborate on this third step in the next slide. The fourth element is analyzing customer insights. So when I refer to customer insights, when you hear customer insights, it's a reflection of what new insight do we have on the customer. As customers' tastes change, as their preferences change, as their buying habits change, they happen quickly. So we have to understand what those changes are. All right, and for example, this may be a change about how our target market views our product. So it's an unrealized reality from the definition. It's something that we didn't know before, we know now, and we can take action with that. It could be our standing in the market. Then lastly, now that we've gone through these first 4 steps, what is our plan? What is our action plan? Okay, so collecting the data, we can either collect secondary or primary data. I'll get into details on this. And that data can be qualitative or quantitative, right? So it can be more subjective comments information, or it can be data-based, quantitative. All right, so let's first look at the two types of marketing research relative to the data types. So we've got secondary data. So what's key about secondary data? That it's available now, right? So we can utilize this data now. So this data could just be from customers' data, maybe from their website. Trade groups could be providing this information, or for example, an industry group or the industry environment gives us some insight on impacts to our customer or to ourselves. Okay, so that's available. We didn't do anything special. It's available to everyone. Next, we've got primary data, which what makes primary data important is it's customized to what our need is. Okay, so secondary data, it's there. We can use it if we need it, if it's applicable, but it's available right away. Primary data, you actually have to go out and solicit that data. We have to gather that data. So it's very specific to our customer, our target market. It deals with pricing sensitivity, potentially customer perception, and we can use primary data for customized. Again, it allows us to do a more thorough job of quantifying our opportunities or our threat. We can break data into another group, which is qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative, that's information that's perhaps a little bit more subjective. We can gather it from focus groups, maybe observing our customers, social media. So sentiment mining, that would be comments, maybe just the mood of on the internet, on social media. Those are all examples of qualitative data, right? We don't have data to back it up, but we're looking at just general observations and the sentiment perhaps of social media. Quantitative is statistically tested, so we can look at survey groups, focus groups. We can have a ranked survey where we're getting actual quantitative data on our market. So we're using that to generate statistics and make better decisions. Not to say that qualitative data shouldn't be used, but more decisive data, more valuable data is the quantitative data. Okay, so the data in general, secondary, primary, qualitative, and quantitative, go into our SWOT analysis. And again, our SWOT analysis allows us to look at our internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as externally our opportunities and threats. And I think for the most part, we're generally looking outside, looking at opportunities, looking at threats, looking at how maybe the market has changed, and then addressing our strengths and weaknesses. All right, so these are all the 6 different sources of environmental data. So when we talk about environment data or environmental data, generally these are opportunities and threats that are coming from the outside. You may hear it referred to as pest analysis or PESTEL. So that acronym comes from political. So any type of change in policies or political that may change our business model. Economic, right? The fact we're in a recession or inflation that's impacting our business model, that might be an opportunity or a threat. Social, those could be changes on customers' belief systems, a moral, technology and innovation. We're seeing more with AI today. That could impact our business. Legal, so regulations, maybe regulations around the use of fossil fuels as an example, right? That may impact both electric vehicles as well as ICE, internal combustion engines. And lastly, environmental. So these are all these external elements that impact our business, they impact our customer. We gather that from company sites, our competitors, our partners, our suppliers, as well as industry resources. Okay, so let's take marketing research and divide it now into 3 different types, okay? So descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. So descriptive, it's basically basic historical data. So sales, views, likes, engagement level. So we're looking at just our history relative to our business model, looking at historical data. All right, so as an example, what is a historic sales trend, right? Is it up? Is it down? Our engagement level, is it up, down? This is called descriptive marketing research. Next is diagnostic. All right, so diagnostic takes the historical data and links in another casual or causal, excuse me, a causal factor, right? So what is causing sales to go up? Maybe if we evaluated it based on our advertising, our promotion, it's going up because we're promoting more. Maybe we've employed a social media influencer, right? So what is the link that causes maybe an increase or decrease in sales or likes? Okay, so as an example, what was the impact on in-store sales post-COVID? So in-store sales have seen a decline, even though some retailers are bringing back in-store sales. So these are all examples of looking deeper into what the cause is and tying that to an external factor, inflation. All right, so next, this would be the third type of marketing research, is called predictive. It's basically what if analysis. So we're saying, okay, we're predicting, but we're saying, well, what if fuel costs continue to go up? What about inflation? What if inflation continues at its same rate? All right, so what is the impact on our business? So what if analysis, a good example today might be the EV market. What if the government puts on further regulations to us as consumers? What is the impact on fuel and maybe convenience stores in the future, right? So all of this is part of this predictive analysis. Inflation, tying inflation in would be another example of predictive analysis. And this is where we see artificial intelligence coming into play. Artificial intelligence is really coming into play more in this predictive role of predicting what's going to happen in the future. So when I look at marketing research today, there's an evolution towards artificial intelligence. We're seeing more of the Internet of Things. These are all the different things that may not need to be connected to the internet, but they are to gather information. Amazon Alexa is a good example of that. These are all items that we use every day. They connect us to our buying habits. It allows marketers to go ahead and create a better business model and maybe use more quantitative data to track our habits. Okay, and then mobile data. And so the mobile data coming from our apps today is helping marketers to understand decisions we make, what we're viewing, and where we're at, right? So it's giving them location data as well. Okay, so why marketing research helps us understand the customer's needs, build a better relationship, better decision making, also the faster pace of business today. We need to have this marketing research to keep up with business and our competitors. Helps us to trace problems, again, predicting, maybe tying them to causal analysis, and then helping us to understand this cause and effect relationship. Perhaps it's with inflation, recession, could be something to do with, for example, credit and harder credit, the increase of higher interest rates. All right, so big data and customer connection. A little story here. So in 2019, we had a number of retailers that pulled away from Amazon. And one of the reasons they pulled away was the fact that they were losing out on data and information. Again, this ties back to marketing research, right? So they were losing the data, thus they were losing their customer connections. So Patagonia, Disney, Nike, North Face all pulled away from Amazon to better control their customer relationship and control their relationship with their customers. But it was really centered on data, which says a lot about the value of marketing research. All right, so how does it all connect together? All right, so we see today 5G. We'll do a little connection here. All right, see if this works. All right, 5G helps to connect with the Internet of Things, which drives big data and AI, which allows us to better understand segmentation of our market, allows us to create our target market, a better marketing plan. So our target market allows us to develop a solid marketing plan that includes a SWOT analysis that goes into the company's business plan, right? So it all ties together. Hopefully you see that now. So hopefully this was useful. This is the end of the podcast on marketing research. This is Mark Spielis. Make it a great day. Thank you.